You're watching WYLN TV 35. Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Julia Wiegand. Governor Tom Wolf and the Secretary of Health signed new orders today in response to the recent increase in COVID-19 cases. Now, under the orders, bars and restaurants are reduced to a 25% capacity for indoor dining. All bars are prohibited from conducting operations unless they offer sit-down or dine-in meals, and alcohol can only be served for on-premises consumption. All nightclubs are prohibited from conducting operations as well. Indoor events and gatherings of 25 or more are prohibited, as well as outdoor events of more than 250. Gyms are permitted to continue indoor operations, but must follow mask requirements and social distancing. Teleworking from homes still strongly encouraged. The new orders take effect Thursday, July 16th at 12:01 a.m. A police standoff put a school on lockdown and closed a roadway down in Schuylkill County. State police were called to 860 Fountain Street in Butler Township shortly before 8 this morning for a report of a man throwing objects from a second-story window onto Route 61 near North Schuylkill High School in Ashland. Upon arriving on scene, 54-year-old John Miller was brandishing a semi-automatic pistol and threw glass jars at troopers. After involving PSP's CERT team, Miller eventually walked out on his porch with his beer and a dog and was taken to a local hospital for a mental evaluation. He's charged with recklessly endangering another person, propulsion of missiles into an occupied vehicle or onto a roadway, terroristic threats, and simple assault. A section of Interstate 81 was closed yesterday in Luzerne County following a fatal crash that took the life of a Wilkes-Barre man. According to state police, 26-year-old Jada Barber was driving a 97 BMW northbound in Pittston Township shortly before 3 p.m. when she lost control of the vehicle. The car flipped before coming to rest in the southbound lane. The passenger, 18-year-old Zaire Spruill of Wilkes-Barre, was ejected from the vehicle and sustained a fatal injury. Barber and another passenger were taken to Geisinger, Wyoming Valley Medical Center with suspected serious injuries. An autopsy was scheduled to be conducted on Spruill sometime today. A house in Schuylkill County sustained minor damage after a fire Tuesday night. A passerby saw smoke coming from a home on East Blaine Street in McAdoo. The witness alerted Fire Chief Robert Lechko, who then called in fire crews. Part of the street was closed off while firefighters put out the blaze. The fire caused damage to the siding and front porch, but no injuries were reported. A state police fire marshal was called in to investigate that Tuesday night fire in McAdoo. Road crews will stay busy in Hazleton as the city secured a $1 million federal loan for paving projects. The federal dollars come from the Department of Housing and Urban Development's Section 108 Loan Guarantee Program. The city will use part of its yearly community development funds to pay the loan over a 10-year period. Plans are to pave and install handicap-accessible curb ramps on Cedar and Wyoming streets. Both will run from Diamond Ave to Buttonwood Street. The list also includes Laurel Street between Broad and Buttonwood, South Vine from Broad to Beach Street, and Beach Street between Church and Vine. Administration will meet later this week with utility companies to make sure there are no utility projects planned for the streets. If all goes as planned, work may begin later this year. A Sugar Notch woman accused of hiring a hitman to kill her stepfather was sentenced to prison yesterday. Prosecutors said 25-year-old Kendra Diaz allegedly paid someone $1,500 to kill 49-year-old Donald Bachman. He was gunned down at the front of his home on Willow Street the morning of May 1, 2015. Diaz previously entered a plea deal and admitted to the charges of soliciting first-degree murder and conspiracy. No one else was ever charged in the murder, but prosecutors believe others that were close to Diaz were involved in the shooting and hope to, one day, make an arrest. Diaz was sentenced to serve 6 to 12 years behind bars. Authorities in Luzerne County seized a number of drugs and took a man into custody Tuesday after serving a search warrant in Wilkes-Barre. The Luzerne County Drug Task Force and police served the warrant at 80 Chester Street yesterday morning. 34-year-old Lamar Thomas Brown told them a small amount of illegal drugs were inside a bedroom. Police uncovered heroin, fentanyl, crack cocaine, and a large amount of cash. Brown previously pled guilty to a drug trafficking offense back in 2013 and was sentenced 21 to 45 months in prison. He was arraigned Tuesday in the most recent case and taken to Luzerne County Prison, unable to post his $150,000 bail. How to get students to and from school safely this fall is on the minds of many, including school administrators. Wyln's Julie Stefanovich has more on the story.
Not only do school districts have to plan on reopening buildings for students this fall, they must keep buses safe as students are transported back to classes.
The solution hasn't been set in stone yet as far as how many students are going to be allowed on a bus.
Over 90% of the Crestwood student body take the bus to and from school. Officials have to find ways that allow for social distancing and find out just how many can fit safely on the buses. The Pennsylvania Department of Education advises that only one child occupy a seat, where normally there are 2 to 3 students, which wouldn't meet health and safety guidelines.
We understand now that we're going to have to keep our kids as safe as possible. 2 kids per seat. They will be required to wear masks to and from school. We recognized pretty quickly that that wasn't going to be doable.
Bus personnel can plan on staying busy sanitizing and cleaning frequently touched surfaces.
Between each run, the bus drivers are going to clean down the high-touch surfaces, spray down the bus. At the end of the day, the buses are going to get sanitized with electrostatic sprayers.
Extra drivers may also be needed to keep up with the changes.
There's always a driver shortage, so maybe this year it might change. There may be more of a driver shortage if they need more vehicles.
Crestwood, like many other districts, are currently reviewing options on just how they can safely reopen in the fall. Reporting for Wyln News, I'm Julie Stefanovich.
Thanks, Julie. Coming up on Wyln News, the city of Pottsville's stepping up in the fight against blight. Plus, licenses to carry got another renewal extension. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the Wyln Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Ezra. I'm 5 years old. It's partly cloudy out here.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
There's no better place to shoot than Whitetail Preserve. Their skeet trap and sporting clay fields are professionally designed and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-455-4251 extension 1378 for more information.
From the bottom of our hearts, the WYLN TV 35 family would like to say thank you to all essential workers for your service to our community and for keeping us safe.
Geisinger settled with 2 families who lost infants in their NICU unit last year. Last October, Geisinger announced that 8 babies were fed donor breast milk at Geisinger Medical Center that was found to be infected by bacteria. An investigation revealed the machine used to prepare and store the milk wasn't properly cleaned. Geisinger has since changed its procedures. 3 infants died, while 1 suffered permanent brain damage. The amount of the settlements have not been released at this time. Property owners that still owe 2020 county real estate taxes won't have to pay a penalty through the end of the year in Luzerne County. Thanks to the pandemic, property owners have until August 18th to avoid a 10% penalty. The deadline originally fell on June 17th, but Council voted to help struggling property owners by extending it. Councilman Walter Griffith proposed an ordinance during Tuesday's virtual meeting to do away with this year's penalty altogether. 6 of 11 council members voted to introduce the ordinance, which still needs a final adoption at a future meeting. By eliminating the penalty, Luzerne County is estimated to forego nearly $1 million in revenue. Pottsville's recently took more action in the fight against blight. The city's adding commercial properties to their current ordinance in hopes of encouraging property owners to be good neighbors and attract new businesses. The current ordinance allows officials to address residential properties causing commotion, which include for criminal complaints and code and zoning violations, but failed to mention commercial properties. Over an 180-day window, a person with more than 3 strikes will have to work with the city to correct the issues. Otherwise, citations start getting issued. At this rate, the updated ordinance should be going into effect later this year. The governor granted more time for Pennsylvanians to renew their licenses to carry. The previous extension was set to expire at the end of the month. Now, license to carry firearms permits expiring March 19th or later are now valid through September 30th. A license to carry is required to carry a concealed firearm on one's person or in a vehicle. Any person violating that could face a 3rd-degree felony. Details on carrying a firearm in Pennsylvania can be found online at psp.pa.gov. Governor Tom Wolf supports legislation extending millions of dollars of tax breaks to turn natural gas into fertilizer and industrial chemicals. The Democratic governor vetoed a similar bill back in March, but said he negotiated changes to limit the scale of subsidies available and ensure that construction workers are paid union wages. The bill passed Senate Monday, hours after the new wording became public, and passed the House Tuesday. 2 projects on the drawing board right now could be candidates for the tax credit, which target sites in both Clinton and Luzerne counties. Coming up on Beach Haven's News Choice, tips for safely walking your pets on this Wellness Wednesday in Community and You. Plus, season suspensions across the scoreboards. Stay with us.
Hi, I had a very minor fender bender tonight in an unreasonably narrow fast food drive-thru lane. Don't worry, I have everything handled. I already spoke to our Allstate agent, and I know that we have accident forgiveness, which is so smart on your guys' part. Like the fact that they'll
4 weeks without the car.
Okay, yep, good night.
With accident forgiveness, your rates won't go up just because of an accident. Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Visit your local Allstate agent, the McNeilis Agency in Hazleton at 1092 North Church Street, or in Hometown the Hometown Village Square.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
Tune in every Sunday night on Wyln from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for hard-hitting, high-flying, non-stop action as only Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling High Voltage can bring you. That's Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling every Sunday night on Wyln. I'll see you in the ring.
Looking for information on the coronavirus pandemic? Make sure it's from a reliable source. Go to WYLNTV.com and click on the Lehigh Valley Health Network banner for the real facts about the coronavirus pandemic. And watch WYLN News live at 5:30 for updates on this ongoing crisis. The source matters now more than ever. WYLN, we're your local network.
Welcome to Community and You here on WYLN. I'm Julia Wiegand, and it is Wellness Wednesday, thanks to our friends over at Lehigh Valley Health Network. And speaking of, we are on location here at the Health and Wellness Center in Hazleton with Megan Curry, who is part of the therapy department over here. Now, Megan, today we're going to be talking safety while walking your pets. Yes. And this is safety for both the pet owner and the pet themselves. So I guess we will start off with, what types of distractions might be out there that might deter the owner from, their dog?
Yeah. So, when you're walking your pet, a lot of people like to take their cell phone just in case they have to call someone. Everyone likes to have their cell phone, but it can end up being a distraction, actually. So a lot of people want to look at their cell phone, they're texting, they're typing. Their dog is doing different things, running in the street. They could be going after another dog. They might be jumping up on a person, and, you don't want your dog to do that. Your dog could pull you down with them, and then you end up with an injury. And so cell phones, anything extra in your hands, car keys probably should go in your pocket. Anything else, I know I've heard people walking with coffee. I don't know who walks with coffee, but that's another thing that you want to avoid because it could spill. You could have all other kinds of injuries. It's just taking away from paying attention to what you need to be paying attention to. That's yourself and your pet.
And along the lines of walking, footwear. Footwear is huge, and footwear is not only huge for the owner walking the dog, but the dog's little paws, it might be a little hot for them. How should people, decide on when they should walk their dog or where they should walk their dog?
So when you're initially deciding if you're going to take your dog for a walk, you want to check how hot it is. Most of the time they recommend going in the morning or late in the afternoon when it's kind of cooler. If you want a quick check just to see if it's too hot for your dog, you can go out onto the concrete, actually, onto the blacktop, put your hand down, and if you can't keep your hand there for up to 5 minutes, your dog can't walk on the concrete without burning the pads of their feet. So if it's that case and you really need to take your dog out, you want to go in grassy areas where they don't have to walk on that concrete. For yourself, you want to make sure that you're wearing solid footwear. Sneakers are always good, anything that ties. Some people wear heavier boots, that's okay, but you don't want to wear heels, flip-flops. All of those things can increase your risk of tripping, falling. Then you could roll your ankle, you'll end up having to see the doctor, sprain your ankle, break your ankle, all of those things can happen.
And so we can also avoid these types of injuries as well. People don't even think about their hands and holding the leash itself. Now, I know my dog is 30 pounds, he's little, but he's ferocious. Mm-hmm. He's all muscle, and if he finds a squirrel or something, he will dart. Right. He will go, and if I'm not paying attention, he could break my hand. So I couldn't imagine running with a dog that is bigger and then coming into one of those distractions. How should people be holding the leash to avoid like a hand injury?
Right, so you want to kind of gauge your dog. You have a bigger dog, if they're not so under control, you might have to change up what you're using. Sometimes you could use a harness, various kinds of collars, and that's stuff you can find on the internet. You could contact a dog trainer, whichever. But holding the leash itself, you want to put your hand actually through the loop and then grip onto the solid part of the leash, not onto the loop. You want to make sure it's not just around 2 fingers. You want to have it on your hand solid, and you can even wrap it around your hand additionally to make it more firm and solid so that it decreases the risk of it slipping right out of your hand and your dog taking off or pulling you down with it. The other thing you can do is keep the leash kind of shorter, keep them a little bit closer to you, and that'll prevent them from being able to have more leverage to pull you down. So you have more control over your dog if they're closer to your side, and they're less likely to drag you with them even if you are holding the leash right. And while walking these dogs, it is warm outside. Well, it is hot outside. Yes. It's hot right now outside, very sunny, and people might not think about hydration as much. Now, not only for themselves, but your little pup is probably sweating too. Right, yep. So you want to make sure that you have an ample supply of water for yourself and your pet, especially on longer hikes or longer walks, especially in the heat, you want to make sure that there's somewhere that you can access water or that you bring your own. So a backpack is a great way to carry some water. You can even put a little bowl in for your dog. They make little pop-out ones so it can hook on a keychain, but you can put all that into a backpack, and then that's still freeing up your hands to still focus on your dog. So you could take the backpack, you have your water, you got the dog's water, and you're set.
And now to kind of bring this all home, what's one of the biggest things that pet owners walking their pets should keep in mind, should consider, and make sure that they do so that, you know, the worst case scenario doesn't even come around?
Yep. You just want to make sure that you constantly have ample supplies of water. You check the temperatures before you go. Firm grip on the leash, good footwear, and then you want to make sure that you're really, really paying attention to what's going on around you. Regardless of the time, you want to watch for other people's dogs, kids, cars coming. Make sure you're on a sidewalk, just anything to maintain your safety and the safety of your dog as well.
It sounds just as easy as it is, you know, to avoid a situation than it is to get into one.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Megan, for talking pets with us today.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you, everybody watching out there. Remember, it's not only you walking on these hikes, on these trails, in the grass, on the sidewalk, it is also your little furry loved one, and they matter too. Make sure you take their hydration into mind. Make sure you take your safety and their safety into mind as well. That's it for Wellness Wednesday here in Community and You. We'll see you next time here on WYLN.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
It's okay that everybody ignores me when I drive. It's fine, because I get a safe driving bonus check every 6 months I'm accident-free. Because I don't use my cell phone when I'm driving, even though my family does and leaves me all alone. Here's something else. I don't share it with Mom. Right, Mom? I have a brand new putter you don't even know about. It's awesome.
Safe driving bonus checks only from Allstate. Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Visit your local Allstate agent, the McNeilis Agency in Hazleton at 1092 North Church Street, or in Hometown in the Hometown Village Square.
Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about visiting a restaurant that has a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we'll be featuring on our show. Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. Jeff Bonomo and his co-host, Alan Giannetti, welcome you into the world of craft beer, great wine, and good food. Wine, Hops, and Road Stops.
We've seen the concern in your eyes. You're scared, nervous, want to know if it's safe. The answer is yes. At LVHN, you'll see the extraordinary steps we take to get you the care you need safely. At all our facilities, you'll see temperature checks for everyone, that we sanitize every surface, and yes, you'll see that masks are required. What we look forward to seeing is relief in your eyes. Lehigh Valley Health Network. Your health deserves a partner.
Although the Back Mountain Field's ready to go in Dallas Township, it'll be missing its Little Leaguers for a bit longer. Little League District Administrator Bob Bertoni recommended Monday that all Little League activities be suspended for at least 7 days. According to an email sent to more than 50 Little League presidents, a number of students tested positive in their districts. With summer vacations also happening, that includes the 14-day quarantine upon their return to Pennsylvania to consider as well. Though kids have to sit the bench for now, it's all in hopes they'll be able to play later on. All PSAC athletic events and championships are suspended through the fall semester thanks to the coronavirus concerns. In our viewing area, that includes all Bloomsburg University fall athletics. The conference already undertook a full review of its ability to shift both fall sports competition and championships to the spring semester. The PSAC conference fully intends to do just that, if by then the situation allows for athletes to compete safely. The Philadelphia Eagles will fly without their dedicated fans by their side this year. Philly's Health Commissioner Thomas Farley said the pandemic safety protocols for major sports leagues look pretty good, but wouldn't be safe enough for fans in the stands. The city's been in touch with the Eagles, and said they can still play home games, but just without fans. NFL guidelines remind teams that local authorities do have the final say in banning fans. The Phillies already announced that they'll play without fans this year. That's the news. Remember, the source matters now more than ever. Catch all the latest on our Facebook page or WYLNTV.com, where you can also find LVHN's real facts about COVID-19. Stay with us. A look at today's weather is next, right here on WYLN TV.
All Care Home Care